What would you do if all of a sudden your bank shut down? Well, for many of you, that could be the new reality. Banks are closing and you may need to move your money. Now, I want to be very clear. For the majority of banks out there, they are safe. Your money's not going anywhere. You're perfectly fine. Most banks are likely going to be FDIC insured. However, there is an issue. Why do people keep on telling you to get your money out of the banks? Well, there's multiple reasons why. First, could the bank be in financial trouble? Could they have many hardships coming? Yes, they could. We see the writing on the wall. But there's something that is coming before that. Before the banks see all these hardships and they're not making money and they can't give you your money, there's something else that's going to happen first, and we've already been seeing this. That's what I want to touch on today because, again, banks are closing. We are seeing this. And let me know if you're seeing this as well. Let me give you an example, though. Let's talk about banks. For example, PNC Bank. They are closing 32 more bank locations. This is going to cover more than 10 states, and this is going to start in 2023. This brings their total up to, I believe, 77 branches in 2023 that they are already projecting to close. We're actually not projecting, scheduling to close. HSBC is closing 114 locations in the UK, which makes me wonder, which experts have been wondering this for a little bit, is when are the US closures going to be announced? Because their reasoning behind closing the banking locations in the UK is simple. Customers aren't using them like they used to. They're not being utilized. And the customer uses have dropped since the pandemic. That's why. I don't think here in the US we are seeing a big difference. So I'm curious when that's coming. Wells Fargo just the other day, they announced they're closing additional 10 branches. They went from having 4,796 locations in September 30th, 2021 to 4,612 locations in September of 2022. So in 1 year, they dropped 184 branches. Now, it's not excessive, but again, this is a big deal. We also know Bank of America is closing an additional 4 branches that we know of at this time. And the reasons why these bank closures are happening, and really they're all the same, is simple. Banks are making money. They're not making money. In this tough economic climate, banks are not making money. Who are they lending money to? Businesses? No. They lending money to people to go buy cars? Yeah, a little bit. Are they lending people money to go and buy a house? Yeah, here and there. But not like they used to. You know how banks make money? By lending. That's how they make money. You go and deposit money, they take your money, and then they go and lend it out. That's how they make money. Banks aren't making a lot of money right now. And customers are not walking through that door. They're not hammering down that door to go and use their services. Let me just give you an example for me. I can't tell you the last time I went into a bank myself to conduct any transaction. Usually when I go into a bank, I'm just there to go and visit friends. Just go and hang out, talk. That's about it. I'm not there to do any transactions, right? And again, this is one of the ways that I stay on top of the banking industry is by going and talking to people that are working in that industry. You probably hear me talk about this all the time where I say, I talked to an insider, I talked to a branch manager, or I got an email or things like that. Well, there's reasons why I get these. Because I put myself in a position to go and hear what's going on. Because I want to know this stuff. Now, outside of that, it has been at least a year since I've conducted any business in a bank. Okay, any business. The reason is quite simple. Everything that I need a bank for, I can do online. This is just for me personally, and let me know if you can do this as well. I can make a wire transfer over the phone. I don't need to go into the bank and talk to somebody. I can talk to them over the phone, right? Pick up my phone and call. That's it. Being that the majority of my businesses are online, I don't get paid cash. I get direct deposits right to specific accounts. That's how I make money. I'm not paying cash for things, right? Even when I bought, let's say, the last piece of real estate, I never had to go into the bank for anything. I asked for a wire transfer, got the wire transfer, it was sent over. That's how I paid for the last piece of real estate. I didn't pay cash for it. I put a deposit, right? Put a small percent down. But that's what I did. Even the lender that I got, I never had to actually meet with her face to face. Called her on the phone. She sent me emails. I signed documents online. That was it. That's what the world's come to. So all these banks closing down and saying that this is a consolidation, it's true. I get it. They're consolidating because they don't need them. Not in today's economy. So why is this a big deal? And I want to be very clear on this. I do think for some people you need to get your money out of these banks. Okay? And there's a reason why. Because you're probably wondering, why? If my money's safe, then can't I just leave it? Yes. Will the bank take your money? No. Could they make it harder for you to get? Yeah. But are they just going to take your money? No. So, the reason why I recommend you get your money out of any branches that are closing is simple. It's because they're going to force you to leave your home to go to a different branch. For instance, here's a comment I got about 3 weeks ago from Stacy here in the community, and she says, and I quote, "I just got word that my local bank is closing down at the end of the year. They say my money will still be accessible, but the next closest location that I saw is 40 minutes from my house. Is this something I should worry about or just leave it?" Okay. My advice, I personally, and again, I don't like to give financial advice, but for me personally, if I had to drive 40 minutes to go to my bank to do any type of banking, right? To get cash out, to deposit money, whatever, to inquire about a loan or something, right? If I had to drive 40 minutes, it's not going to happen. That will not happen. I would simply switch banks. I'd switch banks to find something much closer. This is what's happening. And this is why I'm telling people to take their money out of banks if they're closing. Because if a bank is closing, let's say your nearby location is closing, right? You got word of that. Okay, great. They're consolidating. Cool. What happens if they consolidate because there's very little customers in that area for them? What if they decide, you know what? These 2 locations we don't need. Let's get rid of both these locations and we'll use the next closest one will be 25 minutes away. If you're comfortable driving 25 minutes, fine. For me personally, I drive about 5 minutes. I can get to my bank. 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. And so if they decide to close and I had to drive about 20 minutes to go to the other bank, I would switch banks. I'm not going to drive 20 minutes to go and keep my money at a bank that isn't even close by. Not going to do it. That's just me personally. So again, banks are closing down. You are going to see there's going to be a lot of closures. I expect a lot more banks are going to close. Just to give you an idea, Wells Fargo, I believe, had they had over 6,600 banks in 2009. They're now down to what, 4,600? Okay, so in 13 years, they've lost about 2,000 branches here in the United States. That's pretty big, but again, that was over 2009 to 2021. My expectation, when businesses realize they don't need the amount of people that they once had because of how we've gone online and technology, right? And just the pandemic in general, I have a feeling more branches are going to close banks, the banking industry in general, is going to completely change. And when this happens, that could be a separate warning. But again, I wanted to give you this warning because I know a lot of people are worried that their bank may be closing, which is one of the reasons why I personally do not keep all my money in just one location. I believe I have 7 different accounts as of right now, and just spread out the money, because you never want to worry that, oh, Bank of America's closing. All right, got to take my money, move it over here, right? Just have a bunch of different accounts. Simple, right? But again, it's not financial advice. Go and talk to somebody if you aren't sure what you should be doing. But again, that's what we know at this time. As always, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.